All right, so this one we're going to be talking about factoring out a GCF out of a polynomial. So what we need to be aware of is what is a greatest common factor, the GCF. All right, GCF is the largest expression that divides evenly into all the terms of the polynomial. So not just one of the terms, but all of them. So if there's two terms, both. If there's three terms, all three of them. All right, when you're looking at the terms have a numerical factor and a variable factor. So when you're looking at the numbers, the numerical factor must be an integer. That means it must be a positive or negative whole number. You cannot take out a fraction. All right, and then the variable factor will contain the lowest exponent that is in all of the terms in the polynomial. So if every term has an x, right, and then you're going to factor out an x with the smallest exponent there, because that smallest exponent will go into all of them. So we have a couple examples here. So number one, okay, we've got 2x squared plus 8x. So what is the GCF here? So obviously 2 goes in both 2 and 8, and they both have an x in it. So the GCF is 2x. All right, and so I'm going to take that and place it in front. That's going to be one of my factors, and then what's left is I just divide. So 2x squared divided by 2x is just x, and then 8x divided by 2x is just 4. And then you could check if I factored it out correctly by distributing, and it should distribute back to the original one. All right, now here I have a trinomial, 5x squared plus 25x minus 100. So numerically, 5 goes into all of them, and this one has an x squared and x, but this one does not have a variable, so x is not part of the GCF. Only 5 is part of the GCF. And so when I divide everything by 5, I'm left with x squared plus 5x minus 20. All right, and again, you could distribute that to check, okay, but that is good there. All right, number 3, 6x squared times y to the 5th plus 18x to the 4th times y. So numerically, which is 6 and 18, the GCF there will be 6. Both terms have an x. The smallest exponent is 2, so x squared is part of the GCF. And then both terms have a y to the 5th y, so the smallest exponent is 1, so just a y comes out. And now I divide everything, so obviously 6 divided by 6 is 1. X squared divided by x squared is 1. So I'm just left with y to the 5th divided by y, which is y to the 4th. And then the second term, 18 divided by 6 is 3. X to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared. And obviously the y's cancel out. And so this will be my polynomial in factored form. All right, and now number 4, I have a negative 3z to the 4th minus 18z cubed minus 51z squared. So best practice in math is when your leading coefficient's negative and you could factor out GCF, you normally factor out a negative GCF to turn that leading coefficient positive. So in this case, I'm going to take out a negative 3 because it goes into all of them. And then z is in all of them, and the smallest exponent is squared. So my GCF will be 3z squared. Now when I divide everything, I'll get z squared plus 6z plus 17. All right, and now your turn to try. So we got a binomial here. The leading coefficient is negative. So I'm going to factor out a negative 8 because 8 goes into 40 as well. They both have an x. The smallest exponent is squared, so x squared. Both have a y. Smallest exponent is y. So my GCF is negative 8x squared. It's an x plus y. So I divide all that out. It's just going to leave me with a 1 right here. All right, because notice it's the same thing, plus 5xy.